Hey everybody, it's your boy Big L PhD. It's your boy Big L PhD. Thank you so much for checking out this particular video. If you like the videos that I've been putting up so far, please make sure that you do me a favor, hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. That means give me the thumbs up. Write something in the comments. Right, let's get the conversations going. I really would appreciate the feedback. I want to talk about confidence today. I want to talk about confidence today. I want to try to make this as short as possible because there's a couple things I really want to detail here, right? So, in these spaces, right, when you talk to life coaches and everything, right, there's a certain level of transparency that has to be given, that really should be given, right? Because otherwise, why should you listen to somebody? Why should you listen to somebody? Well, if you follow me for a little bit, you know I used to be a police officer. I then went back to school, when I retired and obviously got my PhD in leadership. So I talk about leadership, and it's really, really important to me. And I have a master's degree in forensic psychology, so I understand, those two things. I understand body language. I understand. Um, I'm actually brushing up on some other things right now. Just about body language and detection of lies. I want to start kind of doing some videos about that and how people are coming across in their testimonies and things along those lines. So, what I want to talk about, what I want to talk about is confidence. Where does that come from? I'm going to put up a couple of definitions here, and I really want to make this organic, so I didn't really do a lot of things. And the definitions I'm going to put up, I snapped after these. So I really want this to be an organic conversation, even though I have the background to talk about it. But I'm not really going to be pulling on a bunch of stats and all that kind of stuff. I certainly can if I like, but it's certainly an option. So the first thing I want to talk about is, where does your confidence come from? So confidence is that ability to believe or to trust in someone else or something, right? You have confidence that your car is going to get you where it's going to be going. But what does it mean to have confidence in yourself? That means that you have put yourself through certain levels of training and operations and done certain things, and you have come through to a successful conclusion of those things, right? In other words, you passed a test. You've passed your boards, you've passed an SAT or ACT, or passed the bar exam, or you have, as a police officer, right, we had different standards. If you're in the military, you had to, different standards to pass and to graduate from high school or the military or a fire academy or a corrections academy or military academies, and et cetera, et cetera. So you have accomplished these things, right? So number one, it comes from accomplishments. You have a confidence in your level to drive a car, in your experience, because you have done things that have raised you to that level of confidence in yourself to believe that you can do this to an efficient and effective level. And you can add that, you can put that to anything. If you're a brick mason, right, you have confidence in your ability to lay bricks, or your confidence to drive a semi trailer, 18-wheeler tractor trailer, which I don't have the confidence to drive that. I would be nervous to do that. But if you've done it before 100 times, 1,000 times, it's nothing to you, right? So think of it that way. And the other way that I want to talk about in confidence, the other type of confidence, and this can be broken down into different sub-levels, subtopics, etc., is your confidence in yourself because of what and who you are and the things that you have made yourself. Now, it sounds like the first one, but it's really not. I'm talking about your command presence. I'm talking about the way that you speak. I'm talking about the way that you look, how your hair looks, how your beard looks, how your eyes look, how your tie looks. I'm talking about the way that you dress, the way that you coordinate yourself. I'm talking about your posture. I'm talking about your teeth. I'm talking about your eyes. I'm talking about your hygiene. I'm talking about all that. All that needs to be on point. All of that needs to be on point. In the police world, we used to talk about our uniforms being nice and crisp. And I used to be a preacher. We used to talk about making sure that your suit was well fitting before you stand up before the people, after church, and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you stuck a mitt in your mouth before you went and greeted the people. All this kind of stuff. We talk about that, right? Confidence. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was the kid that was extremely insecure as a kid. And that comes off a lot of times with people as being shy, or it can come off as aggressive. it comes off as either shy, you you separate yourself because you don't want to interact with people, or you become one who overcompensates and becomes a toxic individual. I was the dirty kid in school. I was the kid that was talked about. I was him. My mother was a poor woman who raised two boys. She worked, but it didn't bring in enough. Got no child support, at least from my father. Did get some from my brother. And this isn't to put her down at all, but people do the best they can with what they have. But that's just a little bit about me, and it destroyed my confidence as a kid coming up. Destroyed it. I had zero confidence. Zero confidence. I was embarrassed every single day of my life. Embarrassed because I knew that there was something better. I knew that there was a better way to doing things. I knew there was a better way, and a way that people lived. And this is before social media, before you could look at people and say, "Oh man, everybody's flashing and flossing and stuff." I just was paying attention. So, because I had a mindset to do better, it pushed me to finish high school. It pushed me to start going to college. It pushed me to join the police department. And even then, I was like, man, I don't even know if I should be here. But I had to deal with self-talk at that time to push myself to complete the police academy. I was 22 years old. I had to push myself to complete it because I thought I was unworthy. I thought I couldn't do it. I made mistakes along the path, along the way, and I got better. And as I got better, my confidence grew. And then 5 years, I became a sergeant. A few years later, I became a lieutenant. A few years later, I became a captain. All the while, my confidence is growing because I'm doing things and getting better at them. At the same time that my academic, scholarly work, occupational confidence is being built because I'm doing things and getting better at them, I still have to work on my social confidence. The duality here, right? There's a great man, W.E.B. Du Bois, who talked about the dual or double consciousness. I could just call it double consciousness. Double consciousness that W.E.B. Du Bois, sociologist, would talk about is he talk about being black and in America. And to be black and in America, you were always behind. And even my grandmother would say some of the things, she would say things like, when you get an A in the paper, it really only counts as a B because you're black. So you got to work twice as hard to be just as good, and other people don't have to do that. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And there's many of us who are still struggling with that. We may have elders who have told us something similar along the lines of what I just said. I'm going to something a little bit later, and where I got on, I'm making sure that I look good. Right after work, I got to go to this thing, making sure that I look good, because I was a kid who didn't look good, didn't smell good. I was him. I'm not that kid anymore. 50 years old. But I know what it's like to be in that place, and that's why I'm making these videos. I know what it's like to have this mental block. I know what it is to have this mental block and it seem insurmountable. I know what it is. But the only way to defeat those mental blocks, and this is why they do these things. This is why the Spartans do what they do. That's why there was always been some type of male rites of passage. You have to go out there and hunt. You have to go out there and fight. You have to go out there and wrestle with your brothers. You have to go. This is why we did it. This is why men did it. And when we get away from that, you have a bunch of boys, sometimes in grown men bodies, but they're boys who have no confidence. If you want a confident man, you got to build them. You got to make them. You got to break them. You got to break them down and then build them up. You got to break them down, and then that's what the military does it. That's what the police academy does. That's what the fire department. They all do it. You got to break them down, and then build them up. restore or input a certain level of confidence in their ability to get the job done. When you graduate from high school or college or the academy, any academy, police, fire, corrections, military, and I say this also about academia. Forget that piece of paper. That piece of paper. I don't have any paper. That piece of paper means that you know how to do research. That's what it means. It's not about the specific subject that you wrote. I want you to look at it as the means and methods by which you understand how to take data, synthesize it, analyze it, and then somehow reproduce it for other individuals to be able to consume it. And in some cases, it's the ability to perform the research from scratch yourself, to think outside of the box and come up with solutions based on the evidence. That's what it's about. So if I did a paper about the lifespan of the tsetse fly, that doesn't mean that's my entire wheelhouse. That means that I know how to break anything down and I can perform research about anything. And that's a certain level of confidence that I'm talking about here. There's a lack of confidence, I think, in men in particular, but a lack of confidence because we haven't been broken down and nobody has been there to build us up and to tell us that we can make it, that you can do it. You can go through the trial, you can get the last push-up, you can do this, you can do that, and all that. Where does your confidence come from? If nobody ever instills in you a level of confidence, if everybody around you has always been, you're nothing, you're nobody, you're just like your mama, you're just like your daddy, you can't do anything, you're never going to succeed, and if you're always hiding behind the I'm black, I can't do it, or the man is keeping me down and I can't do it, you're never going to have that confidence to be able to say I can do it. You're never going to have it. So I want to make this about you, building you up. So how can I build you up? Here's what I can tell you to do. Take some Brazilian jiu-jitsu courses or mixed martial arts courses in order to get yourself up physically, right? Start eating a healthier diet. Get to the gym somehow, some way. And those three things right there will build up your physical, and you'll have a better command presence. You'll be able to walk into a room and feel as if things go down, you have the ability to handle the situation, and that you can make some strides, and you can handle the situation. In lines with that, take some weapons courses. Long gun, short gun, handgun. Take some weapons courses. Be a man and learn how to defend yourself and defend your loved ones. Get in the gym, eat right, exercise, learn to defend yourself. Take some public speaking courses. See a life coach. Hint, hint. Do what you have to do in order to correct the deficiencies in your life. Get your teeth fixed if that's a problem. Do something about your hair, shave it off, grow it, whatever you're going to do. Make sure that you're looking good, smelling good at all times. As well as this, and when you put yourself and force yourself to be in social situations. The only way that you learn to talk to women is by forcing yourself to be in social situations. The only way that you learn how to be confident when talking to your boss is by being in social situations. In every class that I do, every class that I teach, you have to give public speaking. I teach business courses and I teach criminal justice courses. You have to do public speaking, and you have to do it. You have to work on it. You have to work on it. Those things will build confidence. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to fail and fall down. You're going to mess up. You're going to be that kid. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to want to sit in a corner and not come back to work and quit. And that's part of the process. It's part of the process. You're not going to become a stable man that people are either going to look up to or they're going to want to be with. Right? You want to be the guy that every guy wants to be and every woman wants to be with. You got to work towards that. You may never get there. Listen, if you're 5'4", you're never going to be 6'3". But you can still command a room. You can still be a great public speaker. You can still be entertaining. You can still be able to be social and have a conversation. Where does your confidence come from? Two things. Work on on the dual consciousness of living in the body that you are, wrestling with yourself, yet being able to walk out into social and organizational or business situations and still being able to conduct yourself. And special message to the black men. I know that it's hard. I know that it's hard. We are in a precarious situation as black men. Educated black men. Listen, I've said it before. I've said it on other platforms, on other of my platforms or podcasts. I'll say it again. If you're an educated black man, you gotta work on your social game. You gotta work on your social game. I get pushback all the time. Why should we have to do this? Just get me a woman who doesn't require that. No. The best version of yourself is not hiding. The best version of yourself is not deflecting. The best version of yourself is not. Listen, if it's not for to get a woman's attention, you still want the boss's attention. You still want a politician's attention, and that comes through social interactions. It comes through social interactions. Let me say it again for the people in the back. It comes through social interactions. Now, if you just want to be a person who just wants to have your IT career and you want to sit in your closet, I have no smoke for that. But if you want to make some moves, right? You want to make some moves, you have to make some moves. You have to make them. And in order to do that to the best of your ability, you gotta work on your social game. Listen, my PhD is in leadership. I have a master's degree in psychology. I know what I'm talking about. You gotta work on that. You cannot be shy and bashful. You gotta work on these things. You gotta work on them every day. Put yourself in social situations. And listen, they don't have to be in the same city. Go to another town. Go to another town and practice talking to people. Go to another town and go to a festival and just go up to people and start talking to them. That way, if you embarrass yourself, you don't have to see them again. So where does your confidence come from? Where does your confidence come from? And if it's not coming from anywhere, ask yourself why, do the work, figure out where it's not coming from, and then do something to work on the confidence. If you're not confident talking about politics or geopolitical situations, then read some books, read some magazines, read some peer-reviewed articles. If you're not confident about talking about whatever you want to talk about, then read up on it. Listen to audio books about it. Educate yourself on whatever that means for you. Watch some YouTube videos. Come see a life coach such as myself. Eat right, work out, exercise, join Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, do some self-defense courses that include learning how to defend yourself, and become the type of man that every man wants to be, and become the type of woman become the type of man that everybody wants to be, and the type of woman that they want. And if you're a woman watching this, work on yourself and be the type of woman that every man will want to be with. What does that look like for you? What does that look like? So where does your confidence come from? I hope that I said something that was encouraging. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. If you made it this far, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, share the video. Let's get the conversation going in the comment section. I really, really appreciate it. Much love and peace.